Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Once Upon a Time at the Oscars. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Once Upon a Time at the Oscars.
The show that takes you through every Best Picture nominee from 1927 to today.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm Ryan.
And I have the blues.
Aw, what's wrong, buddy?
You know, I'm sad because we're almost done with all the movies for this year's nominees. Did you realize that?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I guess that is why they call it the blues.
Yeah. You know, it's weird. That song's not really a blues song.
It's really not, no.
But Elton John's cool. I like Elton John.
I'm really glad you said that, because at first I was like, yeah, Billy Joel's great. I don't know why I was thinking that. But yeah.
You know. But today, we're talking about the history-making, record-breaking, earth-shattering, like number one talk on the town movie, Sinners.
Yeah. I was honestly going to beat you to it. I was thinking of a kid's movie to say instead. Elio.
Yeah. You made me think about Elio and totally threw off my train of thought.
You're welcome.
I like that movie.
Your train
It's
train
cute.
of thought.
Oh, my God.
We're talking about Sinners, and I am extremely excited for this, mostly because it's always nice when the way that you saw a movie isn't in preparation, right?
True, yeah.
I mean, with one battle after another, I saw it, and I was definitely thinking, like, wow, this is, like, momentous occasion. With Sinners, when I saw it in theaters, it really was like, cool, a Ryan Coogler vampire joint. Like, this sounds pretty neat. And you don't think about the Oscar implications of a movie that comes out in April, right?
Not at all.
So it was very cool. And it is very cool now to be talking about it with you when I first saw it, this was not even remotely a thought for me of this could be not just an Oscar nominated film, but also the most Oscar nominated film.
Yeah, of all time. Not just this year. It's crazy that it has broken that record. 16 nominations.
I'm really excited to break down why that might be. Obviously, one big part of it, and we'll start with that, is the quality of the movie. But there's some other variables that I think can lead to those number of nominations that almost make it a game. That's very interesting. But we'll get to that. But Sinners is the topic for today.
Yeah, I feel like with 16 nominations, we should probably get right into it.
I mean, that's the whole episode. So with the nominees, or the nominations, so director is Ryan Coogler. Original screenplay, also Ryan Coogler. Best actor, Michael B. Jordan, twice. Best supporting actor, Delroy Lindo. Supporting actress, Wunmi Masako. Makeup and hairstyling, Mike Fontaine, Ken Diaz, and Shanika Terry. Original score by Ludwig Göransson. Casting by Francine Maisler, someone that we talked about on the Marty Supreme episode with Tim. Costume design, Ruth E. Carter. Production design by Hannah Beechler and Monique Champagne. Dope name, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
Original song, I Lie to You, which was by Ludwig Göransson and Raphael Sandig. Editing by Michael P. Shaver. Sound by Chris Welker, Benny Burt, Brandon Proctor, Steve Bodeker, and Philippe Pacheco. Visual effects by Michael Ralla, Espen Nordahl, Guido Walter, and Donnie Dean. And cinematography by Autumn Durald Arcapa.
And Best Picture.
Here's the problem. For the audience at home, I write Best Picture at the top, but I don't ever want to start with Best Picture, so I always have to loop back. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, I write mine at the end.
Oh, well.
That's what happens when you
How smart.
have done the show for a few years.
And scribble last night to make sure you have all the notes that you need.
Listen, don't tell them that.
But, I'm winded because it's so many nominations.
It's crazy. And peek behind the curtains right before you did all that, I was like, hey, let's change things up so like we don't sound long and boring. But I still wanted to do that. And it's just so many nominations to list off.
It's a ton. And I'm really excited to break down why this might be. I mean, we'll go ahead and start, I guess, when we talk about synopsis and everything, this kind of lends itself to it. I think it's really interesting that you look at Sinners and someone might ask, well, why did this movie get the most nominations of any movie ever? And I don't want to say that Ryan Coogler played the game, but this also might be an extremely amazing example of where someone played the game without thinking about playing the game, because they're making a movie that's a period piece, but it's also based around music. And it's also set in, this is the time period piece, but 1932 Mississippi. But also there's violence. But also there's a horror element. But also there's really great acting. There's a lot of elements to it that, like, when you look across the board of what you're being nominated for, you're going to be there. Like, if you're making about music, well, hey, you all have all these great below-the-line nominations, along with production design, with set pieces. So when you're going down this list, I would almost be surprised that there's not more acting nominations in this. But otherwise, there's not one thing here where I'm like, okay, maybe, sure. Like, it makes perfect sense what this is being nominated for.
Yeah.
So they really did play the game here, even intentionally or not, extremely well with, like, the craft of this movie and designing this movie, to where, of course, it's going to be the most nominated film.
Yeah, I mean, boy, I don't even know where to start. It's like it's nominated in every category it could have been. The only one, like you said, or alluded to, is Best Actress in a Lead Role. It doesn't have one in that category.
Kind of surprising with Hailee Steinfeld, but also it is kind of a not muted, but sidelined performance compared to the other nominees.
Oh, totally. If Hailee Steinfeld would have been nominated for Best Lead in this over any of the other female actresses, that would have been absurd.
Yeah.
Because she's not the one. Not that she's not great. She's just not the lead
She's not the
over
lead.
them.
Sure. Yeah. That makes sense.
I want to clarify. She's great in this movie along with everybody else. So here's the thing. We said that this came out in April, right? That's when I saw it. That's when you saw it.
Yep.
And I hadn't seen it since then until last night. I rewatched it and I was like, I enjoyed this movie, but when it got 16 nominations, I was kind of like, wow, really? For Sinners? Surprising. I watched it last night. This movie should sweep the Academy Awards this year.
It could.
It should, man.
It could.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not agreeing with me.
No. Sorry.
No, you gave me a look.
No, I was letting you go off. I didn't want to interrupt and be like, yes, it is, and here's why. No, it is. And, I haven't rewatched it since I saw it a second time in April. Mm-hmm. I have seen it twice, but just both times in April. Good time to mention that we're going to be rewatching it.
We already did.
We already did rewatch it. I've watched it 3 times by now. I did see it twice in theaters in April. Mm-hmm. When I first saw it, again, I kind of told you, like, cool, Ryan Coogler joint, let's go. And I saw it in IMAX. And I texted everyone who would listen, just being like, so you're going to have to see that in theaters, like, right now. And I ended up dragging Taylor, who isn't, like, a big, like, vampire person, but I dragged her and our best friends, Chase and Lauren, to the theater to go see it. And Lauren is really big into, like, history and especially, like, any kind of, like, race story. Like, she's very involved in that. So no surprise, she thought it was incredible. And she said it was like her favorite movie of last year, like just floored. And I just remember, it's one thing to be sitting in the theater and experience the I lied to you scene, like on your own. Jeez. IMAX, the aspect ratio change, like just absolutely crazy. But the other side of it too is when you've seen it already and then you go and see it with people. And this was the Weapons of it. I think I mentioned in Weapons. Oh, actually, I didn't. Every time I saw Weapons in theaters, it was just like 4 times. 2, 3, and 4, I would be looking for other people's reactions to certain things. Where I'm like, okay, here's where this is about to happen. Let me see what other people react to with this. And Sinners was a really fun one to do that too. Because you wait for that scene to happen with I Lied to You, and you want to see how people react to it and if they react the same way you did. Because candidly, the I Lied to You scene, and this is the song that's nominated for Best Original Song, I was levitating in this theater.
Oh, man.
What on earth? Like, that's just, it's not what you would expect with something like this. Like, to take a vampire movie set in 1932 in Mississippi, Jim Crow era, and to talk about how music can connect us through generations, and to show it in the way that they do is remarkable. And it's so, so fascinating to see. And it's such a great swing from Coogler. Because Coogler, at this point, keys to the kingdom. Like, whatever he wants to do, he's got. So when he takes a swing like this and doesn't get comfortable, it's really exciting.
Well, that's what's so cool, like the production behind this and his deal, basically, where he said, listen, I want to be paid this way and I want just free reign. And they were like, okay. And then he just makes this absolute masterpiece of a movie. It's so good. I really am happy and kind of surprised that this is the first time that we've used the word masterpiece on this year to cover about these, because I think, and this is what makes things interesting, you pointed out that I wasn't agreeing with you, so I must disagree. I do agree with you, and I think it's really interesting how it might sweep on this, and it does deserve it. However,
it's such an interesting time. And this is Sinners episode, so we'll talk more about Sinners in this. But I mean, I think the same thing about One Battle. One Battle is maybe not Paul Thomas Anderson's masterpiece, but is a masterpiece.
Sure, yeah.
So like to have these two movies be fighting for the top position is really interesting. I think that there, to your point, is a little bit more of a fan movement behind Sinners. And I think it's pretty great because you just don't see things like this nominated that often.
No, and I think that's like what part of the hype just this whole season has been for you and me specifically. This is a horror movie.
Yeah.
We're talking vampires at the Oscars. That does not happen,
and not like
often.
Not like, just like a Dracula story, but like a visceral, like murderous vampire.
Right.
Like,
yeah, this isn't like your fancy capes and cloaks and gothic castles and things, which you've seen at previous Oscar years for sure. With your Bram Stoker's Draculas and Interview with a Vampire and things like that. But yeah, like you said, this is just like gory and gruesome. This movie has all that, but it's also like a very sexy movie.
Yeah. It's not only is it sexy, it's very sex forward.
Yes.
Is something that I thought was very interesting. Like it feels very true to the time. And one thing that I just absolutely love about this movie, and this is Coogler all the way around, is the way that he writes his villains are that they're not actually that villainous. Like, sure, they have a darker intention, but they're, well, I shouldn't say darker intention, darker image, but in reality, their rationale is perfectly sound. And he did that with Killmonger in Black Panther. And I think he does that extremely, not as well, but still pretty well with Namor in Wakanda Forever. But then in this one, Remick, played by Jack O'Connell, it has some of the most like logical reasoning of like, I don't know, man, I think you should just go with this vampire. Like he's kind of spitting facts right now. And it's such a great performance. Honestly, the one thing I wanted to talk about, Delroy Lindo, we talked about the idea of giving a nomination like Amy Madigan for Weapons, someone who's really praised in the Hollywood scene, and giving her that nomination and potentially the win because of her long standing. Delroy Lindo's a really similar situation where this is a guy who's been in Hollywood for a very long time, but this performance really does just kind of like elevate him to an experience to people who haven't seen him before.
Right.
Now, with that being said, I'm a little surprised that we haven't even remotely talked about Jack O'Connell as like a society in terms of nomination for this, because he really is taking what could just be, I'm a bad vampire, and he's really great in this.
Yeah,
Which maybe isn't surprising because he's been great in like, all the 28 Days Later or 28 Years Later. I know you just saw Bone Temple, so you can speak a little bit more to that.
Man, I don't want to make this the Bone Temple episode, but he is so good in that
I hope
movie.
we get to have a Bone Temple episode. That'd be sick.
That'd be nice. I'm not counting on it, but man. But yeah, it's so funny because like I want to talk about Jack O'Connell because he's fantastic, and I want to talk about Haley Steinfeld because she's fantastic. Every single person in this movie is fantastic.
Yeah.
But those are the two that have not been nominated, so it's like
hard to.
But man,
for who is nominated though, I mean, we'll start at the, I don't want to say bottom, but like the bottom of the list that I created here. Wunmi Masako is nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
Yep.
Love this nomination. Wunmi Masako, I've mentioned previously, has been in Lovecraft Country on Max, which I thought was phenomenal. She was in the both seasons of Loki.
Yeah.
On Disney Plus. She's been in countless other things too, but I think those are the ones she's most well known for. I thought she was really great in this. She has this level of mysticism that otherwise is very grounded up until Remick makes an appearance. And I thought that was really interesting. The story that she and Smoke have, it's really engaging. Right. I mean, obviously the idea of like losing a child is really tough. And I think the way that they balance that without like going fully into exactly what happened was really, really interesting.
Yeah.
And she's giving a great performance to that movie. What did you think?
Oh, like I said, I rewatched this last night, and the part where Cornbread is like, he's been turned into a vampire and he's getting ready to come back in, and she's like, why don't you just walk in? What's stopping you from walking in? Why do you need an invite? And he like goes to talk to, I get them confused if it's Smoke or Stack, but he's like, well, I'm going to talk to Stack. And she's like, you're not talking to him, you're talking to me.
Yeah.
And just the power she has there. In the whole movie, she puts a knife to, please tell me which one is her love interest. Smoke. Okay. She like puts the knife to Smoke's neck when they first meet at her house. And she's just such a strong character. she's so much fun to watch for that reason. And yeah, for whatever reason, when she was nominated, I was like, oh, that's weird. She's only in this briefly. And then when I rewatched it, I was like, oh my God, she's in the whole movie. What am I talking about?
No, she's in the whole movie. It's just that she's not in every scene.
Sure, yeah.
But like in terms of like the structure of the movie, she's there from beginning to end.
And she's so important to the entire thing.
Oh my God, yeah.
I guess we don't really have to summarize what the movie is. Probably everybody knows what's going on.
I'll give you the tagline. Two twin brothers come back to Mississippi after an adventure in New York City. And
Chicago,
you're
yeah,
so
because
right.
they're with Capone.
You're right.
Which was a line that shocked me there. I'm like, whoa, they're working with Capone?
So 1932, Mississippi, they come back from Chicago, and they use a significant amount of money to buy out
Like a little mill.
But they favor it for a juke joint.
Yeah.
And the movie takes place over one night in the juke joint where they just try to celebrate and be free for a night. And that doesn't happen when a vampire shows up and tries to enter. I love that this is a 24-hour movie.
Oh, yeah, I love it too.
I love that it takes place over a night. It makes it so much more interesting.
Absolutely. It's such a cool movie because it's one of these where I could sit down somebody that's never heard of this movie and be like, okay, watch this. And for the first like almost hour and a half, you're just like, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait. And then when Remick like falls out of the sky, basically, he has such a weird entrance.
Dude.
And he's all burnt and charred, and you don't know what's going on until it's revealed that he's turned the husband or whatever for the clan members.
Yeah.
And for someone who had no idea what this movie was about, for them to just be like, wait, what do you mean? What's going on? I thought this was like a let's party in the club kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's so cool. The shift there.
I love that. And, you know, I talked about the idea of like balancing the intentions of the villains and how it can be logical. And I think that's done really well to where it's, you see the opportunity and the opportunistic nature of Remick. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he'll look at like races are trying to like battle one another, in this case more so, that there's like white people who are just favoring themselves and no one else, right? And they'll take advantage of that. And they'll say, well, hey, you're going to let me in because I look like you. And they take advantage of that. And I thought that was really interesting. And then, of course, we get to the juke joint and we see him almost kind of like you would first think, okay, well, here's the race story again. Like it's the white vampire trying to get into the juke joint. But then the logic behind him of like, I'm Irish. Like, do you understand like what we've been through? Like, we've been through the same thing. And there's that level of like, we talk a lot about seduction with vampires, so like Dracula. And I really, really like Remick here because he's not sexually trying to seduce anyone, but his logic stands to a point where you're like, I don't know, man. I think it might be better for you if you go over here because you're going to ensure that you will, and I'll use quotes on this word, live longer.
Yeah.
If you just become a vampire, because otherwise this world's trying to kill you. Such a great, like, little bit of logic that otherwise it could have just been, hey, white vampire versus, like, you know, black, like, not even bounty hunters. I guess gangsters is the best way to describe Smoke and Stack.
Gangsters.
I do want to talk about Delroy Lindo.
Yeah.
Delroy Lindo did secure the Best Supporting Actor nomination for Sinners. So Delroy Lindo plays Delta Slim. We first meet Delta Slim at the train station.
Yeah.
I love Delroy Lindo in this movie.
Oh, he's kind of the comedic relief.
He is.
Like one of a few characters.
I was about to say Cornbread is really funny as well. I think Smoke and Stack are also very funny in the way they butt heads. But I really, really love Delroy Lindo in this. I will stand by that it's a surprising nomination. Not because he doesn't give a good performance, but because this performance is kind of the comedic relief, like the old head, the unk, if you will.
Here you go. The scene that I think earned him this nomination, because otherwise I agree with you, but when he first gets picked up by Smoke and Preacher Boy, they're riding back after they pass the inmates, if you will, working on the railroad.
Yeah.
And he has that story about the guy that gets caught by the Klan and killed. That scene is so, it's awful. Like, that story is awful. His delivery is so heartbreaking in that.
It's him dropping the facade a little bit.
Yeah. Man, and this is one of my favorite scenes in this movie, I've decided, because it really enforces, like, the theming of how powerful music is, because he tells this really, really terrible, awful story. And when he's done, he starts humming. And
to kind of bring himself back.
Yeah, like, he kind of at first it's almost a grunt, you know, where he's like, because it hurts him. Like maybe he's about to tear up, but then he starts turning that into a hum, and he's got like a rhythm to it. And Smoke tells Preacher Boy, he's like, hey, you still got that guitar, like, you know, come in. And they don't start the song there, but you know that's where it's going. And it's like, it's such a perfect build up to, this is why music is important, not only to the story, but like to this culture. And like it's helped them get through events like this. And that entire scene is like, oh, okay, I understand why you're nominated, Delroy. Like, so good, dude.
Yeah,
so good.
He's great. It's that scene, and also I think there's a scene later on in the juke joint where he explains to Preacher Boy the power of music. And I think that could also be like a bit of the clip that they show for his reel.
Yeah, he's the delivery of like the importance of music in this movie.
There's also a bit of a narration over that scene, but Delroy Lindo is kind of the introduction of it. Which, by the way, I really hope, let's go ahead and draw a line in the sand here. Very controversial opinion on this podcast. I believe we're a pro-clip podcast, right? Like when the Oscars happen and they announce a nominee.
Oh, yeah, I want to see
we
the
want
clip.
a clip.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just making sure. So we are a pro-clip household here. So hopefully we're seeing clips in 2026.
I hope so.
And I really am excited to see what they pick for Delroy Lindo on this. But I agree. Delta Slim, fantastic character. Just surprising that he was I don't want to say that he was the supporting actor, but that like that he was on the radar for a Best Supporting Actor nominee here with the other movies and who I think could have gotten the nomination. Pleasantly surprised. I don't think it's like a poor nomination.
No, and that's kind of what I was saying when I saw this in April. I was like, I like this movie a lot, and then when the nominations dropped, I was like, 16, really? But after this rewatch last night, I'm like, I get it, man.
Yeah,
I get it.
When we talk about acting, I feel like we can't not talk about Michael B. Jordan with this movie. We talked about how Michael B. Jordan plays two different characters, Smoke and Stack. They are twin brothers.
Mary-Kate and Ashley style.
It really
well,
is.
I guess not.
You're
because it's
invited.
just him.
You're invited to my juke joint. Is that what you're trying to do right
Exactly.
now?
Yeah.
So Smoke and Stack are twin brothers. Smoke is the more reserved, calculated of the two, and Stack is more the loose cannon. Some of the best twin work I've ever seen in a movie. There's a breakdown, and maybe we can show a clip of it, maybe we can't. There's a breakdown of how they filmed a sequence early on when Smoke is handing or I believe it's Stack handing a cigarette to Smoke. And again, this wasn't like, they used body doubles or whatever. They actually had a scene where they put Michael B. Jordan as Stack, and they would set it to like I believe it was like a metronome, not like a song, but a metronome. And they would have like a click, the metronome. And they would set like, okay, so your foot moves on 1 and then your hand on 2. And then at 3, you're doing this. And they like syncopate it to a point where then they can film that scene and then refilm the scene with him playing Smoke now, and then having another set of moves that he does to that beat, so it's syncopated perfect to match up with alignment of where he was previously. And then they just splice that together so it looks like he's handing himself the cigarette. And in most other movies, you would just see, we use the body double and then just like put his face over it.
Right.
But instead, they wanted it to be a true performance for each of them. And I guess spoilers up front, to complicate things even more, Stack is one of the first people to turn into a vampire.
Yeah.
So now not only do we have 2 separate performances, we almost have 3 separate performances, Smoke and Stack, and then Stack as a vampire. Because it's mentioned that there's a little bit of yourself, but mostly you're under like the seduction or like the influence of the person who turned you. So there's more of Remick in Stack as a vampire than Stack himself.
Yeah.
Memories and everything are there, but the personality really is more like, or at least maybe the influence is more Remick. So he is almost giving 3 performances in this movie, and he is commanding. He is so good. You brought up sexy. Like, what on earth is he doing in this movie? He's so good all the way around. And I love to see this kind of nomination. I don't think he's necessarily giving like especially like a Timothée Chalamet or like a Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, I don't think he's giving quite that level of performance, but what he's doing is absolutely unreal. And it's so cool to see a nomination. Again, a movie like this and a nomination like this for these kind of performances is really, really welcome to see.
I think I am sold on this movie 100% because you say it's not like a Timmy
you
performance.
You think he can take over Best Actor over
I
those two?
don't know, man. I really feel like
I think he's in
last
third.
night, I don't know, man. I don't know what happened. I don't know if Remick showed up at my house last night and was just like, "Hey, man," and started playing his little banjo. And
That makes sense why
wooed
you
me.
wanted to move our recording from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Listen, it be bright out there. No, he's so good in this. Like you said, I think I don't want to say I've been sleeping on Michael B. Jordan's career because I've seen
All of them.
so much of his work.
Sure.
I need to go back and just like whatever movie I'm watching, just lock my eyes onto Michael B. Jordan the way that I feel most people do when he's on screen anyway, and just really appreciate everything he's done. I mean, his work with Ryan Coogler alone is enough to just cement him in history as one of the greatest actors of our generation. Black Panther, Creed. I love the Rocky franchise and the Creed franchise, so perfect for that role
Right.
of Apollo Creed's son. But yeah, Black Panther.
Even Fruitvale Station.
Yeah, which that's the only one I haven't seen.
Oh,
and I
really?
need to. Yeah.
It's great. I do think that you're not going to be as blown away by the performance because he's grown so much since then.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a really powerful movie, and he's great in it.
Man. Because, yeah, after that, he had Fantastic Four, which is not a bad movie because of him. Like,
No,
and
okay. Well, I was about to correct you on that. You're right. It's not because of him.
Right.
It is a bad movie, but not because of him. I can't not mention Friday Night Lights. I think Taylor would kill me if I didn't mention that, but probably where he got a lot of his recognition in Friday Night Lights. And he's just like one of the biggest movie stars on the planet now. Producer, director, like obviously this collaboration with Ryan Coogler, one of the most powerful combinations or collaborations we've seen.
Yeah.
I would like to throw something out to you, and I don't think this is that controversial. I think you'll feel me on this. We talk a lot about the who is it now? There's a lot of like collaborations between certain actors and directors. But
Yeah.
I think the one that this feels the most reminiscent of, this is definitely a Robert De Niro, Scorsese type feel of these two.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that.
Where it's not just, hey, I think you're good in this one part. He really pushes him. And I think that this is the highest or the hardest that he's been pushed yet. I mean, Creed, obviously he had to take on a very physical performance for that. But I think in this, the idea of playing multiple people and having, again, not just the easy way out of filming this with multiple people and just syncopating that is really, really interesting. And it's very challenging. So I know this was behind the scenes. This was something that Ryan Coogler originally had to kind of like talk Michael B. Jordan a little bit into. Michael B. Jordan wanted to do something different, and Coogler was like, "Hey, I'm making a vampire movie," and he's like, "I don't know if I want to do a vampire movie, man."
Yeah.
But then he sends him the script and tells him everything. He's like, "Dang, this is probably the best thing you've done."
And that's, again, like I said, this isn't a vampire movie until like more than halfway through it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so cool. I think, not to get away from the best acting and all of that, but I think that is a huge reason why this movie is as highly recognized as it is, because it's not a vampire movie until later.
Yeah.
And that,
It's secondarily a vampire movie.
right. We love horror at the Oscars, and that's great and that's cool, but I really do think that it's all of the non-vampire things that make this movie what it is. And I kind of agree. I think like the first half of this movie is my favorite half.
Well, it's such an amazing setup.
It's so good. This is not like a new thing, a new thought at all, but the inspiration for this movie, a lot of people say, is from Dusk Till Dawn.
Sure.
Very similar. Two brothers, crime brothers, really, making their way to Mexico and picking up other people on the way. And halfway through the movie, boom, vampires. I love that. The first half of that movie is my preferred. I just love the setup in both of I guess, this genre of movie, the psych, it's a vampire movie genre.
Yeah, and I think honestly that's why I was confusing the two, because when I said bounty hunter at first, I was like, oh no, they're gangsters. I was definitely thinking From Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah, and it's interesting because if you think about the characterizations of Smoke and Stack, you can see that in Tarantino and Clooney.
Yeah.
In the Gecko Brothers?
Gecko Brothers, yeah.
Yeah. Very cool to see that kind of like clearly an inspiration, but it doesn't feel like, oh, he just made From Dusk Till Dawn. Like he made, like you said, a masterpiece of talking about like the importance of music and something that Remick even brings up for his Irish heritage.
Yeah.
Of, well, we also use music to cope with the tragedies that we faced.
Yeah.
Just all around, it's an intentional movie. Everything that happens is intentional. There's a reason it's happening, and it all has a reason. I got to come up with more adjectives because I feel like I'm running out of words for this.
I know.
And I want to correct myself. Like, I would be thrilled if this swept the the Oscars. I would love to see a sweep here. I'm trying to be realistic, not just in what I want to see, but what I think the Academy would do.
Yeah.
I'm so interested. We've seen movies that get a lot of nominations and they don't always get the wins. So I don't want to say because it has the most nominations ever that it's going to win all of them or sweep.
Sure.
I think it has good chances. And again, I think it's kind of a split with one battle. But the question really is now, if we want to, and it doesn't feel right to say that Coogler is an up-and-comer because he's been doing a lot recently. But someone who has a legacy like Paul Thomas Anderson and someone who's newer than Paul Thomas Anderson on the scene like Coogler. And I think you're kind of like, you're battling between every reason that you have for Sinners to win is the same for one battle. And it's really interesting to have that conversation. And I love, and here's where I really want to end on that specific idea, I love that both of these movies are phenomenal. Yeah. I love that we're arguing about two different movies. I'm going to be happy to see it win either way. But there's something really exciting about how new and different Sinners is from something we would see nominated at the Oscars. So that's really exciting.
It's super exciting. I can't get over how much I enjoyed it on a second watch last night. Well, so cool.
Technically your third watch last night, because by now we will,
but I still watched it for the second time last night. Paradox.
Oh my God, what's going on,
dude? One last thing on the acting before we skedaddle. This is the first nomination for every one of these acting nominees.
You know, I guess that makes sense for Michael B. Jordan, but it's a little surprising.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's surprising for Delroy Lindo, too.
That's the biggest thing.
It's crazy.
He's been around forever.
Been around for a long time.
And all his collaborations with, like, Spike Lee. Like, it's surprising. To Five Bloods that he wasn't nominated.
Dude, To Five Bloods is solid. Yeah. It's like, a lot, but that's a great movie. But yeah, Michael B. Jordan. I think because a lot of Michael B. Jordan's heavy hitters in the past are, like, superhero or... Well, I don't know, because Stallone got nominated for one of the Creed movies. I hope he wins, dude. Justice for my boy, Michael B. Jordan.
Well, and that's the nice thing. Like, we talk a lot about whether they're going to nominate the legacy or they're going to nominate the up-and-comer. And I think that both with Timothée Chalamet and Michael B. Jordan, there's a chance we haven't seen their best work yet, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
And with Leo, I don't want to say we're sunsetting, but, like, it's more likely that we've seen his best performance than we haven't already, or haven't yet, I should say. So it's really interesting. I mean, he could very well win, and you can't really blame him for the performance in this movie.
No.
When we talk about vampires, I think that a pretty, not obvious, but expected outcome is going to be talking about makeup and hairstyling.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I think that's something that pops up here pretty easily, makes a good bit of sense with how visceral, and it doesn't pull its punches. It's a pretty gory movie.
It's very gory. Lots of, like, blood spurts and things and just puddles of blood.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel very CG. It feels like they try to go a little practical at times.
Yeah.
So I think makeup and hairstyling, I don't want to just kind of gloss over and be like, yep, makes sense. But it does make sense.
No, yeah. And especially at the end when Remick is, like, really transformed.
Yeah.
It's great because it's so dark. You only have moonlight lighting that scene. And he's so creepy looking. They really gore him up, and like half of his body is completely transformed into almost like this demonic looking vampire. Mm-hmm. And it's great. But in addition to the vampire looks, all of the hairstyling and the makeup, I mean, Haley Steinfeld, when she walks in and like her hair, I don't know how to describe her hair. It looks great. Like
great looking hair.
Yeah, it's great looking hair. No, just everybody.
Well, time period specific. Too.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just everybody in this is like beautifully done. Wunmi Masako, like, I don't know. There's so much representing this culture. Like, it's not just like, okay, do everybody's hair. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, represent what we're going for in this movie. You know, like it's more purposeful than just do the Bee Gees' hair, you know?
Right. And also there's the idea of like how Mary, Haley Steinfeld's character, comes from like a little more influence than anyone else does. So her hairstyling is going to be different than like Wunmi Masako's or anyone else at the juke joint.
Right.
So there's that intentionality again where like everyone is wearing the hair that their character would wear.
Right.
And not just what looks good on them as a person.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really well done too. Again, everything just feels so purposeful.
Totally.
And I loved that.
And in addition to that, you have the vampires, you have the period piece setting, but then you have the I Lied to You segment where you've got to do like the 1970s acid trip electric guitar player and get that look correct, the like Jimi Hendrix kind of look.
Or like even like 1600s,
Yeah.
like those performances, even to like, the yesterday, like the current times, people just like dancing, like doing modern dances around like craps tables and things.
Dude, oh god. That sequence is like alone is a perfect segue into the cinematography in this film.
Well, that and the original score and original song.
Right. Yeah,
All of that's
everything.
featured right there.
And the makeup and the costumes and this and that. But specifically, I want to talk about the cinematography because so much of this film is beautiful. And like they really, they weren't just like, okay, it's set in 1930s Mississippi. Believe it. They show you 1930s Mississippi.
Yeah.
And, specifically like from the point of view of our characters. And I love that. Like everybody's out in the streets doing their own thing, like trying to make a buck. And, you don't just have like small segments of like a cotton field. You've got these giant, sweeping, vast cotton fields. When the train first pulls up into the station when you first meet Delroy Lindo, like that looks phenomenal. And that's all the production design. And I'm going off topic because I want to talk about I Lied to You and the cinematography.
Yeah.
But like all of that I Lied to You sequence is one shot.
It is.
It's a oneer, and it is like a ballet, just this beautiful dance going through the crowd. And that's what's so cool about it is Preacher Boy starts playing the song, and you're focused just on him, and that's when the narration starts, and the camera starts to move, and as it starts to turn and twist, that's when these like futuristic characters are introduced, and you're not expecting it the first time you see it.
No.
It like makes your jaw drop, and you're like, wait a minute, what are we doing here?
The brilliance of this sequence is that it really is asking you to trust the director, or maybe more so it's the director asking you to or trying to trust you, like assuming that you're going to have the faith in this movie, because it doesn't ever say like, hey, these are projections of the past, these are projections of the future. It just shows them in that room dancing with them. And I think that there are audiences who have seen this movie that would be like, okay, well, are we going to see these African ancients from like 1600s like fighting these vampires? Are we going to see like people with guns shooting the vampires that are from current times? Like, are they in the movie now? Did we welcome them into this dimension? And the movie doesn't want to answer that for you. It doesn't want to say like, hey, in this sequence, are they really here, or is this a projection? It's asking you just to trust the process. And I love that because it pays off so well when you just give yourself to the movie. And I fully did. So when that sequence happened, I was on the ceiling, like freaking out over what I was watching. Because it's worth mentioning that sequence, and then later on, when the Remick and the vampires are let into the juke joint, the aspect ratio changes in IMAX.
Yeah.
Did you see it in IMAX?
Yes.
Okay. So that sequence of how it changes formatting for that scene, that to me was like the Avengers circling shot of like them like getting ready for battle.
Right.
I was just like hooting and hollering, so excited for what was happening.
Dude, even when I watched it last night on my laptop, that scene does, the same thing.
Right.
On a much smaller scale.
Sure.
But I was just like, oh my God,
Yeah.
it's about to happen.
It's so cool because it does feel like, to your point, the cinematography is really beautiful. I love, you mentioned the scene earlier where Smoke is driving Preacher Boy Stack is driving Preacher Boy. That's right, it is Stack. Stack is driving Preacher Boy and
Delta Slim,
and then eventually Cornbread through the fields in Mississippi. And like, I love the way that they shoot that because it's not just like it's mounted onto the front of the car. They like go to the side almost.
Yeah.
And there's this great bit when Preacher Boy starts playing his guitar. You can see Stack reacting.
Oh, and traveling.
Yeah. I love the look on his face and the way he reacts. And it's just such a genuine, like, what the heck is going on with this guy?
He's so excited. We're going to make some money tonight.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's so good. So cinematography all the way around. And the original, I want to talk about Ludwig Göransson. There's a song that plays pretty early on in this original song that they put on. Mm-hmm. And I think it's actually playing during that sequence I talked about where Stack is handing Smoke a joint or a cigarette. I can't remember. And the score that's playing is just, it's so classic Mississippi, but it has just a little bit of that like supernatural like flair to the tone. It's even hard to describe, but there's a little bit of like, you can feel the emotion in the song. and you don't even know the story yet, but you're feeling the emotion, and you hear this southern like inspiration of the twang of a guitar, but there's something a little supernatural about the tone, and that is like a perfect score. I've gone back and listened to this multiple times. This is a score that's great to listen to even outside of it because, and this is the test of a real good score, when you can listen to it again and you're starting to visualize the movie,
Yeah.
that's it. You want something that can't exist on its own, but makes you think about the movie and like visualize the setting. Because that's what you want music to do. And that's a testament to this movie. And what it's trying to say is that music can bring you to places and bring you closer to other people and be this communal experience. Something we talked about with like Hamnet over, the communal experience of theater. So one thing that we haven't talked about yet, shockingly, is that we talked a lot about Smoke and Stack and specifically Michael B. Jordan. Miles Caton.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's incredible in this movie. And it's almost, to your point earlier, it's a surprise that not everyone got nominated, but Miles Caton deserves a lot of attention for this movie because not only is he has a great voice. He's performing I Lied to You. Like he is singing and playing, and he's so good. I love his voice.
Yeah.
But he also gives an incredible performance in this movie. He's plagued by the idea of like having to live up to his father's expectations in terms of religion, but also wanting to be this musician and being tempted by the criminality of his cousins, Smoke and Stack. And I thought the way they balanced this, like they balanced religion and race, and they balanced the idea of like, music connecting us together. All of that feels very heavy. And for that to happen in a movie and it work well is one thing. For it to happen in a movie and work well, and the director be able to get like full rights to it after 25 years, something like that. He made a deal with the studio to where he would fully own the film after a certain period of time.
Exactly.
That's another thing. The biggest thing for all of those things to be true, and for it to hit as well as it does, and for it to make as much money as this movie did. Like, this just doesn't happen anymore, man. I'm lifting my book right now because, like, I have, like, 50 movies in here that I've written about for, like, the podcast. And, like, this doesn't happen with any of these other movies. One Battle is, this incredibly sweeping, like, masterpiece that does tackle a lot of really great ideas really well as well. But that didn't resonate with audiences as much as Sinners did. So there's a box office phenomenon in Sinners that makes this even more interesting when you talk about its Oscar chances, because it is a fan favorite.
I'm a fan.
And it's a favorite.
It's true. Man.
It's so good. And the other things we talk about, like sound, visual effects, editing, the sound is really important too, especially when we talked about the I Lied to You sequence. Anything with music, sound is going to be a big part of it. But also there's some great balancing of, the editing and design, where when Miles is first singing, Preacher Boy is first singing, I shouldn't say first, when he begins singing I Lied to You, the narration comes on, but also the juke joint starts burning down.
Yeah.
Metaphorically, because it's burning the space between those dimensions and the time.
Yes.
And the crackling of the fire and all of that amongst like the music and everyone dancing, that's a really great bit. Like there's great design in there. So sound is really great. Editing, kind of harder to explain without like visually like showing those examples. But I mean, the movie is cut extremely well, so editing is a big part of it.
I'm looking at the nominations and I'm like, yeah, I mean that was phenomenal. This
makes
great.
sense. This makes sense.
Like, God, I'm trying to recall what part it is when they first discover Stack's body.
Yes,
and the way it's another example of the camera being like, okay, we're following Smoke. We're gonna do a one shot over to the door where Stack is. He's trying to get in. Nope, he's busy. You get a little funny joke from Delroy Lindo at the door where he's like, oh, he's not answering. He must be busy. All of that is one shot, and just again, that's one of those shots that's fantastic and works because of another element of the movie, the production design. Like this had to be a real barn or mill house or whatever it was. The juke joint is a real place.
I feel like I know the layout of it right now.
Right? Like
Having
I
not
go
watched
and
it since
hang out.
April.
Dude, it's so cool. And it's, I think in a way where Guillermo del Toro talked about Frankenstein and the way that all of these things have to work together to come together and make this great painting or this phenomenal symphony. Mm-hmm. This is an example of that happening in a way that Frankenstein didn't really do it for me. And I think that's interesting to talk about when you see that Del Toro was not nominated for director, but Ryan Coogler, of course, was.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is that how much of this is Ryan Coogler's vision. And you can say that about Del Toro. I just don't know that Del Toro's vision was that singular. It felt like it was kind of torn in multiple directions. This is Coogler's vision. Like Sinners, top to bottom, feels like it's him. And it 100% authentically feels like a Coogler production. And I mean, Coogler is just one of a kind. Like what he's doing is crazy. So it's very cool. I do agree about Del Toro and how you would expect that directorial nomination. But Coogler is a force. And I think he's in there now. I think Coogler is a name that can be along the lines of Del Toro and Paul Thomas Anderson and Chloe Zhao. Like he's welcomed here. This isn't like the new kid on the block.
Right. But again, like every department is a reoccurring collaboration now with Coogler. Yeah. And that's really what I was pointing out with the Del Toro thing is he is the maestro of this symphony.
Yes.
And it's like the greatest symphony in the world right now. Like they are all just working so fluidly together. And I think it's cool that you're seeing so many first-time nominations with all of these highly skilled creators. Mm-hmm. It's just such an exciting movie on screen and off.
It is. And I mentioned it being like a singular vision. And I think that's true. But to your point, he has such an eye for what's needed for it that he knows who to bring in. So it's not, hey, this is Ryan Coogler's score and this is Ryan Coogler's performance. These are the singular performances of these people and the score of Ludwig Göransson, but he knows that like Michael B. Jordan can do this. He knows Delroy Lindo can be up for this kind of performance, so he gets that out of them. And that's that collaboration that you're talking about, the orchestra of like everyone's working so like harmoniously together because they enjoy doing these.
Yeah.
So it's so cool to see someone who comes out and is this great director and people just really like him. Like people are like, Ryan's great. Michael B. Jordan's great. Their collaboration is fantastic. They're like almost brothers at this point, the way they're so close. So the other thing I want to mention with this is the screenplay. Screenplay was by Ryan Coogler as well. I think blending the themes that we talked about with religion and race and music and set this in 1932 Mississippi and balance the supernatural and horror of like vampires. I mean, this to me, what are we doing if we're not giving this original screenplay? Like, this is an original story. He didn't take Dracula and, like, try and fit it into this. He didn't, like, take some existing property. He has made his own singular vision of this script, and it's so good. So that's why when I talk about, adapted screenplay going to One Battle and original going to Sinners, I'm mostly confident because this is such a great story.
Yeah.
Not just on paper, but beyond paper as well. So to me, this is, you're not going to believe the word I'm going to say. This is a lock.
No, I agree. I think what's so cool is this movie, more than any other Coogler film I've seen, operates in a similar way that a Tarantino movie would.
Totally.
Tarantino's always writing original stories, but he's borrowing so much from other films to help tell that story. Mm-hmm. 100% in this one. And that's what I love. Like, the story is phenomenal. The build-up, like we've said multiple times now, is like, to me, the best part of the movie. When we get to the vampire part, I mean, you've got From Dusk Till Dawn in here. There is the moment where they all have to eat a clove of garlic to prove they're not vampires. Oh my God,
so The Thing.
Straight from The Thing.
So John Carpenter. And he loves The Thing.
Yeah, absolutely. He's gone on record to say, like, it's inspired from Dusk Till Dawn, but also from another Robert Rodriguez film, The Faculty, which, apologies to my barber. She has been telling me to watch The Faculty for about 6 years now.
Are you talking about like Elijah Wood, The Faculty?
Yes.
Homie.
Dude.
Whenever you want to talk Faculty, you come to my house.
Too late. I have to go talk to her first.
Well, your barber and I are going to have a conversation because that sounds dope.
I hope she's doing well. She's on maternity leave.
Shout out, barber. I hope you're watching The Faculty every day.
That's why my hair's so long.
Your hair looks good, though.
Thanks, man. She did it right before she went on maternity leave.
She should go on maternity leave more often. I don't know what to tell you.
Please don't.
The Faculty rocks.
Yeah, and he borrowed a ton from that. Yeah. Apparently, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know. But that's his words.
Do you know the idea of The Faculty?
Yes, I do.
So it makes sense to you why there would be that inspiration of like, have you fully turned? Are you human? Are you vampire?
Right.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, just overall the amount that he's borrowed, but still manages to make this original story.
Yeah.
And it never feels in a same way. Well, I don't know. A lot of people will watch Tarantino movies and be like, I mean, he just ripped off so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. I don't feel that way. I like the tributes to other films. I think that Coogler could arguably be doing it better here.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you the one thing that makes it feel more like an inspiration and homage than it is like they ripped it off. That garlic scene that you're talking about being so very clearly John Carpenter, The Thing. They don't have any kind of reveal of like, oh, hey, I'm actually a vampire because I took this garlic.
Right.
They instead have this great bit of comedic relief where Delta Slim takes his garlic, but it goes down the wrong way.
Yeah.
And he has a visceral reaction to it that everyone's like, oh, man, not Unc. And he's like, no, I'm fine. It just went down the wrong way.
Yeah, I drank too much.
I drank too much. So good.
Yeah.
Like that. That's him making like his own version of it. And that's why to me, you say borrowed it, and I almost even think inspiration. Like it's not just, hey, this is The Thing scene.
Totally.
This is me like honoring what came before, but making it my own. And that's what this movie feels like. It doesn't feel like, hey, I just made From Dusk Till Dawn. It feels like, well, I was really inspired by that, and I took it and made it into something that spoke more to something so personal to me.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. That's the dream.
Dude, and I think like taking inspiration from these films that obviously mean something to Ryan Coogler is almost like thematically accurate to the movie itself.
Yeah.
He's paying tribute to all of this, to the culture, the history of the music and the power of the music. And it's just, it's great.
You know what's so funny? I feel like it's almost harder to have conversations about movie like Sinners than it is something like F1 because it's honestly hard not to just spend an hour being like, how amazing is this?
Oh, yeah. Dude, I feel bad because I've just been like, have you guys seen Sinners? It's like really good.
But I think we've done a good job, explaining exactly why that is without breaking down like scene for scene, like just our favorite things in it.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about humor and blending the humor with like, the drama and the horror in this. And I think another part of that is the performances. Cornbread has this great scene. You talked about how he's turned and everyone's critical of letting him back in the house or the juke joint, which again, great bit, because the last thing you want to do in a horror movie is have everyone scream like, why are you doing this? What are you doing? You have the characters with that mindset. Wunmi Masako specifically being like, to your point, you mentioned this earlier, why can't you just come in? Why are you asking for permission?
Yeah.
And that whole scene when he's like, fine, I won't come in, but give me my pay for like watching the door. And there's this great, not just his hand gesture, because he holds his hand out and just does like a very quick, like, give it to me.
Gimme.
But the camera work. And like, my guess is that Ryan Coogler saw him do this gesture and he's like, hold on, do that again. And then just like has the camera cut to his hand, just like slowly doing that.
Yeah.
And I guess this is an auditory podcast, so you can't see it. But that shot is so funny.
Yep.
Because it's just such like a, okay, cool, I've been bested, but like, I'm going to get my money. So cool. Such a great little bit of humor. And that's throughout the movie, that there's a little bit of humor like thrown in there without like having the drama be affected by that.
It's not like Marvel humor.
Correct.
Where you're just like, oh, the most depressing thing I've ever seen in my life just happened.
And then
waka waka.
Yeah. Well, guess I'm not coming back to this party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a great example of that, I'm just going to say we're a spoiler podcast. Like, that makes sense.
I think we have to talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
The end of this movie, it is Smoke is the one that survives, right? Yeah. So Smoke has this crazy showdown with the KKK.
Yeah.
And he takes them all out, but he is mortally wounded during this battle. And a great moment to represent like this comedy in the middle of a very touching moment, he starts to see Wunmi Masako's character, who is now deceased, and
their child.
Their child together. And as he's seeing them, and she's like, you can hold him if you want. The leader of the clan, it like starts speaking to him, and you just see him like load the Tommy gun he has and just lay into this guy, take him out. And that's a very like, damn, ha ha ha.
That feels very Tarantino.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then right back to the very touching moment where he gets to hold his child.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't feel like Marvel Waka Waka to me. It's perfectly inserted comedy because it serves a purpose.
Yeah. It does. And, I'm glad you brought that scene up because in theaters, I was definitely a wreck to the end of this movie. And the moment that got me was he's, dying. So he lights a cigarette and he starts to smoke it. And Woody Masako, again, like a vision to him, handing him their child because he's about to pass too, tells him to put out the cigarette if he wants to hold him because she doesn't want him to get that smoke on him. And I thought that line, that wrecked me. Like in theaters the first time, I was like, man, that's such a great like little jab of like, watching him kind of like give up that persona and no longer try and be like this gangster and more just be her husband and like this child's father.
Yes.
Like, just to drop that and be himself. I thought that was such a smart and like perfect little delivery. And it's a little cute, but it perfectly worked on me. And I thought that was a great final line for them. Great ending. But of course, if we're going to continue the spoiler tradition here, we can't talk about the ending of this movie and not talk about the final moments of the story. And that's where probably my favorite performance in this movie. All of them are great. This isn't to say like it's the best performance, but my personal favorite. We fast forward in time to where Preacher Boy has continued playing guitar despite this horrific experience he's been through and has given up religion. And we see him as Buddy Guy. So Buddy Guy shows up as future Preacher Boy, and he's made a career in playing blues music still. And this would be one thing if it's just Buddy Guy playing guitar and we're like, oh, cool, that's Preacher Boy in the future. Great. But then after the credits, he gets a scene with Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld where we cut forward to, I'm going to guess, the 90s.
Yeah, I think so.
So 60 years later, he's playing music, and then Stack and Mary in vampire form come and visit him because they've been welcomed into the club. That's another great little like clip or another great little moment where when you hear the bouncer being like, all right, cool, you can come on in.
Yeah.
And then there's like a little bit of like a freeze of like, he just welcomed someone in. What's going on?
Yikes.
Yeah. And then the vampires walk in. This is great because this also shows that now that Remick is gone, that his influence is over. And now Stack and Mary can just live their lives the way they want.
Right.
And they're living in the fashion, like they're in real time. And honestly, I don't want to be like, give me a sequel, but I'm really interested in what they can do with that and those characters in like the 90s or in different time periods. But that aside, not only does Michael B. Jordan get another scene here to kind of like, almost like a fourth character, but essentially just Stack as a vampire, Buddy Guy holds his own.
Oh.
He's like right there with Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan is nominated for an Oscar for this performance, and Buddy Guy is right with him. Like that, there's that great line of like, hey, we can make this last a little bit longer for you. And he's like, I've had a really great life.
Yeah, I've seen enough of this place.
I've seen enough of this
I'm
place.
good.
Right. Like that's such a great little bit. And to a point where like afterwards I was like, hey, that actor they got to look like Buddy Guy is crazy. And then I looked up, I was like, Buddy Guy? You did that?
Dude, it's so good too. Just his last bit when Stack and Mary go to leave.
Yeah.
And an elderly Sammy now, elderly preacher boy, is like, I have nightmares about that night all the time, but I think all things aside, that might be the best night of my life before everything went down.
That's the line.
And I think that itself just like is a testament to like how important the music is in general, because you're looking back at the I Lied to You sequence and you're like, Buddy Guy, I agree, man. That sequence alone might have been the best night of my life too. Sorry about the vampires, but it's so meaningful and so impactful. And of course, Stack's response is just like, yeah, me too, in more eloquent words, but just like the perfect little epilogue for this movie.
See, and that's the thing. Like Michael B. Jordan knows to give that to Buddy Guy and knows like to let him have that little moment, so he doesn't have this like more impactful response of like, no, it was my favorite night too.
Yeah,
like just him being like, yeah, me too. To let him have that moment, but more reacting to it. That's so cool. And to give it to Buddy Guy of all people, like that's just amazing.
Yeah, in a way, you could argue that the entire movie is a build up to a tribute to Buddy Guy himself.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So there's such a level of respect in that final scene.
I also think it's interesting because essentially, you made a little, I say jab, but I mean it affectionately. You made a little jab earlier at the Marvel humor of it all. And this is a post-credit sequence of like an actor or like a cameo of sorts. and like, hey, here's technically what could happen in the future, but still closing the loop on the story.
Yeah.
And even though it is that, it's the right version of that, right? Like there's post-credit scenes aren't a bad thing. Cameos aren't a bad thing. It's the way that you handle them. And the way this movie handles both of those in the same scene, brilliant. And that's what needs to be done moving forward. So I love that you can see the Carpenter. I love that you can see the Rodriguez. I love that you can see the Tarantino. But you also see the Marvel of Coogler. And you see, hey, I did Black Panther and I did Wakanda Forever. And I'm not ashamed of that. I've done that. And here's what I've picked up from that.
Yeah.
So cool.
Dude, 2 more connections to Marvel, because I do think that it's so important to Coogler's career, which is fine to talk about. Usually I'd be like, I'm kind of sick of talking about Marvel. But because he made arguably one of the best MCU projects of all time.
2 of.
Yeah, yeah. In the church that Preacher Boy's father preaches at, apparently the cross beams and the framing of the roof is supposed to resemble the Wakanda Forever as a tribute to Chadwick Boseman. And also, Ruth E. Carter was set to be the costume designer for the upcoming Blade film that was going to be a period piece set in the 30s. That is all kinds of a production nightmare. It was supposed to film here. I think I even got an availability check one time on it.
Really?
And then I never heard anything back, and they were like, we're not doing that. Scrap. And now, whatever. But she was supposed to be doing that, and because it got canceled, and then this was coming out, she got permission from Feige to use some of the costumes from Blade.
Oh, wow.
So just like, Marvel kind of coming from everywhere in this movie, but in the best way possible.
Yeah, honoring is what the main thing.
Yeah.
I think the big thing we should end here is we talked about the cast. Casting is something that's very important for this movie. We mentioned on the Marty Supreme episode that casting was something we were really impressed with there, but it really was between One Battle and Sinners. I mean, Sinners, just, I think, a testament to what we've talked about here. To bring in these individuals as these characters, I really don't think that there's one other actor or actress that I think could have played these roles. Like, because now when I think of Delta Slim, I do think of Delroy Lindo. Like, there's just no one else who I think could have played these. And to find, it's one thing to look back in the catalog and be like, well, what's an older actor? Who's an older actor that could really do this? But when you're casting for Sammy, Preacher Boy, to find Miles Caton.
Oh, man.
Like, Francine Maisler cooked in this movie. So, again, speaking to that collaboration between Ryan Coogler and all the different departments, just incredible work from Francine Maisler, because this cast is out of this world.
Yeah, I mean, we spent, 80% of the time talking about the cast, so...
Well, don't make your cast as good. I don't tell you.
Yeah, chill out, Francine.
Leave some cast for the rest of us.
Yeah. I mean, all we've done this episode is wax poetic about how phenomenal every element in this movie is.
Right.
So I think we should get into ratings.
2 stars.
Yeah, that's, me too. Same Z's.
I'm pulling up my Letterboxd right now to see. I have a feeling I know what mine is, but also, second time I've brought this up on the podcast, how cool that you go to Popular this week on Letterboxd and it's just pretty much all 10 nominations for Best Picture.
People are getting ready.
Still love to see that. You and I...
Don't use mine because I didn't re-rate it from my most recent watch.
Let me ask you this. Yeah. Is your rating now different than your previous rating?
It is.
We have the same rating.
It's 5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars, man.
5 stars. I mean, this is just like a masterpiece. Like, this was one of the better movies of last year, if not the best.
One of the most rewatchable movies
easily
of the year.
I mean, it was so easy to go back and watch it a second time.
Yeah.
There's not a moment where you're bored. Everything, again, has a reason. I think even like the little scenes that are kind of trying to communicate one small thing. I think of Smoke going into the convenience store and having someone watch his car while he does all that.
Oh, such a good scene.
Great scene. And like the only thing it communicates is like the authority that like Smoke and Snack have in this city.
Right.
But along with him balancing like the humanity of like treating people like people.
Right, because he teaches the little girl about bargaining, basically.
Yeah.
So cool.
About like, hey, I'm going to offer you this. Cool. He's like, no, not cool. Like, ask me for more.
Yeah, watch my car for 5 cents. She's like, yes. And he goes, no, ma'am. And when he says no, ma'am, I'm like, is this Michael B. Jordan, the sexiest man alive in 2020? Because I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Every woman on the planet has just barged into this room to scream yes. Yeah, no, he is. And he's so good. Again, like, to your point, when you're communicating just little tiny things about character, but the scene itself is still that memorable,
yeah,
that's what you're looking for. So 5 stars.
5
Easily.
stars.
Not even a question for me.
5 stars. I want to throw something. I'm just like, I've got this energy in my.
Well, don't
my
worry.
body.
We're going to talk about train dreams here in a minute, so you get to use all that energy
Oh, so I'll throw myself
off a cliff.
Yes.
Yeah, correct. So double features.
Yes.
You had said going into this that you weren't sure that you had yours. Have you felt the inspiration?
Yeah. So here's peek behind the curtain. My immediate thought was, well, I'll just do From Dusk Till Dawn
Right.
because it makes sense.
Such an inspiration.
It's such a mirror of just kind of the setup and the ultimate lead into vampires. But I thought that was boring. I wanted to touch more on the films that found inspiration from other films and paid tribute to movies of that, or those genres, rather. So I went with Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown. Mm-hmm. Did you go with Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown?
I did not go with Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown.
Oh, okay.
I went with Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight.
Okay. Yeah. But I think, like we
to it.
said, yeah, Ryan Coogler is doing things here where he is finding inspiration from all of these films that he loves. We've said it in the pod itself. Quentin Tarantino does the same thing in a way that people will accuse him of just straight up stealing. I think Jackie Brown, for me, is a great tribute to like the blaxploitation genre. You've got Pam Grier just giving a knockout performance. It's one of his more overlooked films, but I think it borrows so much from like the exact genre it's trying to pay tribute to.
Right.
And yeah, check out Jackie Brown. I love it. But Hateful Eight, I mean, tell me about that.
Well, that's the reason that I said the name earlier on was you saw me make a face because you said Quentin Tarantino's, and I had suggested a theory to you of a way to do it, and I found this movie through that theory. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh no, you found the one movie. But no, so the reason I chose Hateful Eight was this is also a movie that takes place over a night or maybe a few nights, but trapped in a cabin.
Yeah.
And the majority of this movie is a cast of characters trapped in one location from the outside conditions. And then a fear that the real terror might be from within, that there might be one of them that isn't like they say they are.
Yeah.
A little bit of that thing.
Exactly.
Comparison that we had made previously. So it felt like there's similar connections there. Obviously, when you talk about score, I don't think you can't not talk about Ludwig Göransson and Sinners in the same way you can't talk about Ennio Morricone. Is that right?
Yeah.
I want to make sure I get the pronunciation correct on him because he's obviously a titan of a composer. But you can't not talk about that score in Hateful Eight in a similar way that you can't talk about Sinners without Göransson. So those connections of the paranoia and along with the human connection, right? The fact that you can make a movie and a script that is so interested in connecting these people and humanizing them.
Yeah.
I thought that balance was great in Hateful Eight, similarly to Sinners. So
Yeah.
that
Great.
would be my comparison.
Great period piece too.
Great. And I feel like it did, those two movies pair well together without being like, to your point, you don't want to just say a vampire movie. You
Yeah.
want to just say From Dusk Till Dawn. You want something that feels like it takes that tone and takes it in a different direction. And I feel like that's Hateful Eight.
No, that's great. I think these two Tarantino films are probably the best connection. I almost went with Django Unchained, and then I was like, well, that was nominated for Best Picture, and that'll complicate my list. So
I did a similar thing.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of things, and I was like, maybe I want to swerve from that.
yeah.
So I'm glad you thought the same thing.
Yeah, totally. Guys, that's Sinners. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? You absolute
You missed our showing.
loony. Yeah. So, boy, I don't know what day. On the 27th of February, we did our very first watch party with the community Discord, and I'm going to say it was a blast.
It was
I
so
had
much
a great
fun.
time.
Remember
right?
when Bryce said that one thing?
Yeah. I think Bryce said he couldn't be there.
Remember when Bryce wasn't there?
I just made that up. I don't know if Bryce was there or not.
Well, now we have both takes. So
Yeah.
if he was or wasn't, we can just edit that out.
It'll be perfect. But if you're interested in future watch parties, be sure to check out the Patreon and become a patron member. I always feel like become a patron saint of Once Upon a Time at the Oscars.
That's us.
Yeah.
We are the patron saints. They can be patron members.
Exactly. Check us out at patreon.com/OUTAO podcast. We are still running the promotion. If you want access to future watch parties, that is a paid tier. But if you want access to the Discord, that is currently running under promotion. You just follow the Patreon for absolutely free, and you get that Discord link. If you'd like to communicate with us about the movies in general, Sinners, Train Dreams, any of the other films we've covered for the 98th Academy Awards, shoot us an email at outaaopodcast@gmail.com. Don't laugh at me.
No, I'm laughing because I watched you close your eyes to remember the acronym.
I had to find them.
And I'm just so impressed because every time I listen to the episode, I'm always like, how did AOU out to? Like, I'm always trying to figure it out. So I was always wondering, how does he do it? And I just watched you do it. It was very cool.
I envisioned a codex in my hand and I'm turning the dials and I'm like, oh,
You're solving the Rubik's.
Yeah. I found the Rosetta Stone. But yeah, like, rate, review, all of that on what your podcast platform of choice. We are almost through with the nominees of this year.
We are. And then we'll ride on in 1931.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm almost done with my research.
Are you at the point now where you are kind of getting tired of looking at the modern movies, these 10 movies? No, you're not there?
No.
Interesting.
Not at all.
Normally, I would be feeling that fatigue. This death race has been smooth sailing.
Yeah, good.
So
You're almost there.
Yeah, normally I'm like, I never want to see the name Honora again, which I'm over that now. I like Honora, but you know what I mean.
It's a testament to the nominations this year.
This is true.
There's more great than there is mediocre.
Very true. We love F1.
Not even the one I was thinking of for you.
Yeah.
To be honest.
But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. As always, I'm your host, Kyle.
And I am your way out. This world already left you for dead. Won't let you build. Won't let you fellowship. We will do just that. Together, forever.
That kind of sounded like a rocket power quote.
We are fighters on a mission.
And we'll see you at the movies.